Hey there folks, Champesk here bringing another audio commentary, and today we have a human versus elf, and it's going to be between Knicker and Hawk. Elf versus human on this map is really actually quite interesting, because there's a lot of different tavern heroes that can be seen from the elf, but in fact Knicker's going to be going for his altar, so maybe Demon Hunter, maybe even a Warden. Certainly it's possible on this map. There's certainly things like Blink, not quite as useful on such a small map, but actually Knicker's really well known on this map for going Dark Ranger. It has fallen a bit out of style, and not with the Mount King first type things that we have been seeing from humans recently. It's a bit less good, but still it's a decent strategy certainly. And then they're just going to be doing the standard quick creeping, and we can see Hawk has sent out a quick militia so he can build a farm just in this nice spot here, so we can scout what's going on. We can scout the hero as it comes down, and you do more often see it in the base, but certainly this is fine because it's giving him an idea of what movement is going on, as opposed to when the attack's going on, which can be sort of predictable, and all you're really going to be able to see there is maybe you can see a hunter's hall if you get lucky, but you can just put that somewhere hidden away, so it's not too big a deal. And we do the Archmage now coming out here for Hawk. Maybe it's reaction to the fact that it's not going to be a Dark Ranger because of this fast altar, or maybe that was just his plan all along. Certainly Archmage has always been very popular, and this map, it's not as good, but it allows you to do some of this very quick creeping of things like Merc camps, which you can't do quite as efficiently with the Mount King first. And Hawk now gonna maybe even try and steal the Shadow Priest when the creeping starts. That's certainly something you can try and get away with, and obviously by stealing it you deny the elf it, and then that elf can't do things like dispel your water elementals and stuff, so it is pretty nice to steal if you can, and if you want to get one from either camp, then getting it from your enemy's camp is a bit nicer. As we see, Knicker is now going to start this creeping here, immediately going to try and bait the bait the lightning there onto that archer, but actually doesn't manage to do it because we do have the Shadow Priest. It has now been bought, and so it is going to mean that Knicker's going to be creeping a bit slower than he otherwise would have liked to be creeping, and looks like Knicker actually taking a bit too much damage on this archer. Will be forced to run it back. The peasant actually going to try and chase it down. It has been slow, but that slow will wear off soon. And in the meantime, Hawk could be creeping out this camp here. Got quite simple camp, and then probably pulling militia to creep this camp, or maybe even creep his expansion. We'll have to see what his plans are going to be. As Hawk's actually coming in here, trying to get some last hits off with his Shadow Priest, but he's not going to be able to. And he does get mana burn, so he will have to get out of here. But he does have a lot of mana still, so it's not the end of the world for him certainly. And we do have this Demon Hunter actually going to try and chase down the Shadow Priest now that he's picked up the item, which is a Pendant of Energy, which will be nice on the second hero presumably, but not as nice really on a Demon Hunter, which normally has enough mana anyways. And Hawk actually now going to lose the Shadow Priest, but he's going to try and get the creeps killed. He does let that happen. No last hit with that mana burn, and the Demon Hunter now didn't take any damage from that though, so it's not the end of the world certainly for Knicker not getting that kill, because he did get force that Shadow Priest to die, and Hawk now had to buy another one at his own side. So nice play here by Knicker so far, and we do not have actually this one peasant taking quite a lot of damage, but Knicker will need to be careful here about this round. Oh, Hawk just narrowly misses it there, as he is now going to lose this one peasant despite it being healed up. But this is going to get that level 2 for that Demon Hunter, and we do not see actually a Tree of Life going down for Knicker. No tech yet for him, but he does have his Hunter Saw actually as well, and he could start teching in a little bit, but chances are he's going to want to get out a couple more units first. Maybe if you just want to buy some units from the Merc camp, they can be useful in a pinch like this where you want to be doing some damage, such as when you see an expansion attempt like this, and Hawk bringing down these militia, which really does suggest that we are going to be seeing this expansion going up now, and still no tech now from Knicker, so maybe we're going to be seeing some really heavy aggression until his expansion goes up, just so that Knicker can justify having actually purchased his expansion earlier, but actually not going to be able to start mining until much later. So Knicker now actually could be forced to run back a bit, but he does have his Demon Hunter at still full health, so he doesn't actually have to go back all the way to his base to heal up or anything. And we do now have Hawk at level 3 though, which is going to cause a lot of problems here for Knicker. Knicker does have the boots of speed, whereas no boots of speed for that Archmage, so the Demon Hunter will be a bit more deft, maybe moving in and out. As you can see, this expansion has now started out for Hawk, and Knicker has now seen that and will be looking to do something. He is building a couple Huntresses now, Actually, he stopped building huntresses. That's an interesting choice here, and he hasn't started his tech yet either. So it's a bit of a weird play here by Nicker, where it looks like he's sort of maybe trying to convince Hawk that he's going to be doing a lot of pressure, force him to build more towers than he should, and then actually not do too much pressure at all. That certainly could be something we would see, but Hawk probably could be looking for those other huntresses, and we do see actually some more mercs being picked up, but still, you want to be, if you're going to be doing this aggression, you're going to have more huntresses, and Hawk's certainly going to be suspicious that there aren't any more huntresses out and about at the moment, as we see the Steel Hunter taking a lot of damage, drawing a lot of fire, and wasting a lot of the Archmage's time, but Hawk's time isn't too valuable compared to the time of the Demon Hunter, as we now see this nice little attack here. Finding her, gonna take out this tower. Yes, he finally gets it there. Actually, good now. Go get 2 peasant kills by the looks of things, and then probably gonna be forced to pull out at this point. And Nicker now actually gonna lose his Shadow Priest. Maybe no, he just manages to get away. Very nice there by him. And Nicker actually taking out a 3rd peasant, so really doing some good damage here. But does need to be very, very wary of this round. Nearly gets his Hunter surround, but he does eventually manage to get it away. And now he's taking a lot of damage on his Steel Hunter. He will probably have to run it home. And in the meantime, we do now have this tech started now for Nicker, as well as this Tree of Life being uprooted and will soon be walked in. And so I think Nicker's justified the fact that, or justified sort of his slow taking of the expansion, despite having built it quite early, with the damage he managed to do, especially with that killing of the tower as well, because that's definitely going to scare Hawk. We can see he's putting up 2 towers now. He needs to have some sort of defense going up, but he probably won't need it too much. It's just something to be careful, because he hasn't really scouted too much at the moment, and we do not have Nicker going to be actually taking a bit too much damage on his hunters from those water elementals. And actually now this expansion will be seen by Hawk, as Nicker picks up another Shadow Priest. Really does want to be able to do a lot of healing on both his hunters and his Demon Hunter, which are so important tanks in this sort of situation, when you have things like Berserkers, which just have such high DPS. It looks like that Shadow Priest, though, is focused down very, very quickly. Obviously Hawk very, very incentivized to take that out quickly, and now this Tree of Life actually getting some more hits in, but Nicker really does need to take this expansion quickly. He hasn't even crouched it out yet, and he's really falling quite a bit behind in terms of amount of mind, so does need to get on top of that as soon as possible, as we see this Tree of Ages most of the way done now. And I wonder if we're seeing any tech. We are now seeing tech from Hawk as well, so he's obviously a lot later, and we'll have to see what he wants to do for a second hero. Certainly the Mountain King, very, very good on this map in this situation, as long as you can get enough mana for to negate the Demon Hunter a bit. And we do have actually one more kill there by that Demon Hunter, but he will now be forced to pull back, as that Demon Hunter is actually pretty close to level 3 now, and Hawk now still hasn't got much experience in a long time. We can see he's been level 3 for a long time now, and actually he isn't even significantly towards level 4, so that is a sort of good thing for Nicker, but really at this point he should have been doing a lot more damage than he really was able to do, because these towers are now up, so he can't really do any more harassment apart from maybe hit a couple peasants here, which obviously can't just be moved down there, so it's not too much that can be done at this point by Nicker, because those towers were eventually that to go up. Actually, one clause of attack not yet being picked up here, as we have a second here, the Panda, now out from Nicker. Fantastic for that Pendant of Energy, and we do actually finally have this farm now being attacked by this Ancient of War, which is going to suggest to Hawk that the tier 2 is done, because lores must be going up, because that Ancient of War doesn't need to be rooted anymore. And indeed he now sees that Panda, so Hawk has a good idea of what is going on, as we see that Creepjack comes in, and actually Nicker tries to turn it around a bit, but actually he's going to take a bit too much damage here. The Hunter does eventually go down, but in the meantime maybe we're going to be able to see a bit more damage being done here by Nicker, who does have that Breath of Fire, using a second one right there. The Demon Hunter now runs in, he's level 3, so he should be able to get off some good mana runs there. The Mud Golem being focused now, but it is Scroll of Healing being used actually now by Hawk, and another Hunter's now in a lot of trouble, is actually taken down, and the Archmage now getting pretty close to level 6, or level 4, sorry, as the actually hits it there, as the Panda is taken down, but only this one Panda will be back shortly, and Nicker now losing more and more units. This is going fantastically so far for Hawk, because Nicker, bear in mind, probably only starting mining about now, so really not being able to do, not just having such a huge advantage, and Nicker not being able to do too much, does eventually take down one more Shadow Priest, but we can see this expansion just now started, has only mined a very small amount, considering they start with 12,500, he's only mined 70 gold so far, and only has 2 wisps in gold as well, so really not going too well for Nicker at all at the moment, as Nicker actually does run in there and steals the item, which is pretty nice. One defending shield, it's actually going to be pretty decent against this many footmen, especially if you can put it on that Panda, which is just so beefy, but really not fantastic of a item to pick up. Watch Wards might well have been better, as this Nog is being picked up now, second for Hawk. He might have been hoping there to get the slow arrow off, but he just wasn't quite quick enough, and so that Demon Hunter does escape scot-free, and the Panda is now back out using a Clarity, and does have that Pendative Energy as well. And we are seeing a lot of drives as well as the spell coming out now for Nicker, who really does need to get rid of those Water Elementals because they are just such a threat to him. And once he gets rid of them, though, he's really going to be in a great position, because really, unless the footmen have Defend, which obviously they won't have, it's really difficult for a Hawk to do anything against Drides with this army composition, even a small number of them, just because of the poison being spread out and the magic immunity and the spelling of the Water Elementals is so powerful. And we do have another engagement coming in here. Actually, one dispel being used there on that Ogre Warrior, bit of a weird choice there by a Nicker, and we do now have a lot of damage being taken there on that Demon Hunter staff back at 50 hit points. And actually now one of these Drides, very low on health, does take one shot there from that Earthmage and does get killed, as we do now see this Ogre Master running into the middle, and both players might try and get the last hit off there, but it looks like Nicker's going to be happy just to take out one more footman and then maybe run back a bit. One more Dride actually been taken down to very low health and is actually focused down to the last second. Really nice play there by Hawk. Nicker getting so close to saving so many units, but Hawk just managing to get the last hit every time, and that's just so crucial at this point. And we do now see this really interesting combination here from Hawk, where you go for casters, probably some breakers as well, and then mortar teams. And if you can get an 80 supply army of that against Bear Dryad, you're just so powerful, because those mortar teams can actually do so much damage if you can actually get the slows going off. And for that to happen, though, the Dryads do need to be low on mana, which given their current rate of death and the dispelling of Water Elementals is actually quite likely by the looks of things, as we do have actually this Ogre Magi finally being killed. Nicker is going to get the experience as well as the item. The item is a Scroll of the Beast, which he's going to keep, but I know he does sell it, and that makes a lot of sense obviously. No real point in selling it if you have bears on the way, and we do have Tree of Eternity now coming up, as well as a couple first bear I believe on the way now. So really Nicker not going to need that Scroll of the Beast at all, as we do now see this small camp being crapped out there by Hawk, who is going to get what Tome of Intelligence. It's alright Tome, I suppose, although against the mana burn really not too brilliant. Really hoping for that Tome of Experience obviously, as we do now see Hawk's production buildings here could be could take a bit of fire, but really they're not going to go down to 4 Dryads and 2 heroes. We do now have almost level 4 on this Demon Hunter, as well as 2.5 on the Panda, so really not too bad. So you do see actually this camp being crept out with the aid of the towers here. Nice play here by Hawk, just being able to do a lot of nice attacking here with his Water Elemental by forcing the turtle into the choke point, and obviously is the healing from the priest as well. So really some very efficient creeping, and very safe as well. Really no way to creep jack that. So Nicker going to be forced to do his own creeping instead here, and we do now have him creeping at this slightly easier camp there. So a bit of a win yet again here for Hawk, who picks up a Claws of Attack, I believe. Yeah, Claws of Attack, which is not brilliant, but certainly in the Naga it's alright, because the Naga has a fair bit of single point damage when you have that when you have the cold arrows as well as fork lightning. That can add up, and we actually see 3 ivory towers now being purchased here for Hawk as well. Invuln Pot on both heroes, as well as Scroll Healing on both heroes, so really nice items on for Hawk as well, as we do see actually a lot of militia. Wow, 7 militia being called now. Really this is going to be a huge amount of damage output here for Hawk, as well as some great tanking abilities. We'll have to see whether or not this is something Nicker can do. He did build the Ancient Protector out, which is just such a good thing to have in this sort of situation, but we can see a slow push coming in here from Hawk. He might even decide to put another tower here, which Nicker won't quite be able to see because of the tree line. And we do now see Nicker actually is running down here. He's going to be seeing all this action. One flying machine even being built here, just to be able to maybe take care of any invisible units. Obviously invisible Demon Hunter or invisible Panda getting great positioning at the start of the battle can be super damaging, as Nicker actually gets first blood there, gets off 1 peasant kill, but these towers are now more than halfway up, 1 arcane tower and 2 guard towers, as Nicker actually gets a decent positioning here for this battle. Lots of these peasants a bit caught out here, but eventually, actually very nice staff there on that bear as well, but just so much damage being taken now by Nicker. It's just really not clear if there's too much he can do at all. Hawk really pushing an unconventional time here, really catching Nicker a bit off guard, as Nicker now going to be forced to use a couple rejuvenations on Dryads, and I'm going to be looking for another attack soon, but obviously he doesn't want to attack before the rejuvenations are done, so that he can heal up, and also so that Spellbreakers can't steal those rejuvenations. Spellbreakers, by the way, with 1-2 upgrades, really solid upgrades here from Hawk, compared to the only 1-0 hero of Nicker, so really everything going Hawk's way this game. And as we do have 2 Fairy Dragons, which can be so powerful against priests and swords, and actually Naga as well can be very useful. So we see a lot of Wisps now being pulled here by Nicker as he tries to take another battle here. Obviously no Roar being used because it can't all just be stolen by the Breakers. As we see these Wisps walking in, actually getting some very nice dispels off there, and we do have another Fairy Dragon actually coming in as well. These towers in the back though really posing a big threat here, as we see Nicker's really being forced back by them, and actually these mortar teams which would be out in the open are actually being well protected by those towers there, because Nicker just can't stay in the fight for too much longer. So a nice play there by Hawk, actually being able to do a lot more damage with mortar teams than we're used to seeing, as actually the mortar teams pick off another Dryad again. Wow, really nice use of these mortar teams, being so aggressive with them. And we do now see the Tree of Life maybe gonna be healed up here. Yeah, it looks like it will be repaired, as Nicker's just being forced to take all these battles, where he'd really rather have to be able to wait a bit longer so he can get a couple more units in it. And we do now see more dispels going off there from those Wisps, really managing to detonate on absolutely everything, as these bears now coming in doing a lot of damage, but just not quite enough bears by the looks of things. And these Breakers, they do take extra damage from the bears, but the healing scrolls which are going off now for Hawk, as well as the healing from the priests and the water elementals and everything, is just so damaging, as we see that Tree of Life has now been focused down by the mortar teams as well, because there are no Dryads in the battle. You may as well get them to take down the Tree of Life, and then you can actually pull back a bit and know you're ahead, which is, by the looks of things, what Hawk is going to try and do. He's even put, yeah, as I say, one of these towers here, which is just so useful, because it's impossible to see until you actually get right up to it. It's such a sneaky thing to do when you spawn on the right side of the map there. And we do now have no expansion being retaken here, obviously, for Nicker. He's in too much dire straits really to be doing anything like that at the moment, as we see another push forward. Nicker maybe will be wanting to pull back a bit. Obviously he'd want to rejuvenate, but he's lost a lot of mana on his bears from the feedback from the Breakers, so really not as much he can do. Another staff there on that bear, keeping it alive, probably going to go back and actually heal it up on the Moon Walls to get some mana back so he can do some more efficient healing with his bear. So by the looks of things, he's actually pretty low on Moon Juice. He does have the Moon Wall upgrade, but still he will need to take the next battle probably without full hit point units. And actually it looks like Hawk's gonna pull back now, but he's gonna put up one tower here, actually in a really aggressive position. You could conceivably put it back here or something so that it wasn't necessarily obvious, but then as soon as the expansion started to be taken, you would immediately know, which would be maybe a bit sneakier, maybe a bit better, but this way is certainly going to cause more problems, certainly psychologically, for Nicker, who's really going to be showing on the back foot as if he wasn't already. And Nicker now actually just doing that really short staff home, and it's going to be able to rejuvenate up one more bear. And we can see though a lot of his units are still damaged, even with these moonstones being used and everything. He does have 3 Fairy Dragons though, but still only 1-0 upgrades, and I wonder if Hawk's been getting any more upgrades. No, obviously he hasn't. He's sticking at 1-2 at this point. He's just looking to get more and more units, and really he just needs things to get in the way of the bears at this point. And also considering how many militia he brought out at the start of the attack quite a while ago, it means it's going to be a bit more restricted on number. We can see what, only 3 on number by the looks of it, although actually a huge Creepjack now coming in here, but Nicker does manage to do to force the TP there, and he's actually killed the tower as well. And now Hawk gonna be in a bit of a worse position. Nicker will almost certainly want to re-expand as soon as possible, as we see actually one Hippogriff out as well, which is gonna be nice because it's gonna be able to take down the flying machines, which are now actually posing a threat finally to the Fairy Dragons. Obviously, sort of a while ago, the flying machines were out long before the Fairy Dragons were out, so actually they weren't as useful, but now finally they do have a better use, as they do now go into Mana Flare form, as well as the haze and fire goes off. But it looks like Hawk's determined just to run out of this battle. The bears are just too much of a threat, as you see Blizzard now going off here for the for Hawk. It is level 3 Blizzard as well, so we can really see it's doing a lot of damage here to these bears. One of them might even go down now. Oh no, just gets out of the Blizzard in time, but it's left a lot of bears at low hit points now, as we see Hawk just constantly pulling back this sort of endless sort of wave of bears just coming forward here, really doing so much damage, but just being able to tank anything that Hawk can throw at him, and another move zone being used as well, as we're going to want to see that Panda being brought back soon for Nick, who is actually at 5.5 on his Demon Hunter. A level 6 Demon Hunter can really turn anything around, but certainly a level 6 Archmage can turn anything around as well, so really very, very close now, despite all the early battles. Just Nicker's been able to get such a huge bear army that really there's not too much that Hawksman is able to do in this sort of direct fight without either militia or towers nearby, or many more casters. He only has 2 Sorks and no priests by the looks of things, because of those nice hazes and fires we were seeing earlier on in these battles. And actually now this flying machine getting a bit in the way, but does eventually manage to get out of there, and we do not have this Demon Hunter being forced back. He has been slowed, but probably nothing's going to come of it. Maybe we're actually be seeing this Hippogriff being focused down. Actually, we could be seeing another slow golf. There is an invuln pot on the Demon Hunter if he absolutely needs to, but the Panda gets in the skirmish now, and he does have a staff. Actually, both heroes have staffs for Nicker, so he is in a fairly good position. We know 2 invuln pots, but only 1 healing scroll for Hawk's army, which is actually pretty bare, all things considered. Not too much going for in terms of items. Really would be nice to see a couple more items there, just for sort of the long-term play. Obviously, Hawk sold a lot of them, so we can support that really, really strong first push. And Nicker now going to be really taking this expansion, as Nicker really obviously always bears in druid form pretty much, just so he can regenerate that mana a bit quicker, and so that also when he uses rejuvenation, it's basically twice as powerful. Really, really important to be doing that. And Nicker now maybe even going to be looking for a fight pretty soon. He is clearing up his Panda again. Be nice maybe to get level 5, but there's not too many creeps obviously with this one being stolen there by Hawk. So maybe we're going to have to see Nicker fight with just a level 4 Panda. There are a couple small camps around which he could use, but I think all in all he might be better to try and pick a fight sooner, or at least be aggressive, try and hold the merchant, and let his expansion slowly bring him back into this game. He should definitely be getting some upgrades as well. Actually, he isn't at the moment. Maybe he has other plans for the short term, just in terms of trying to take some sort of fight right now, which looks like Hawk's actually trying to do. He really wants to get in the battle. Actually, we left this very, very low Panda being taken down by the blizzard there. Very, very nice damage there. And Nicker looks like a TT, maybe from lag there, because he didn't have that staff on, and it shouldn't have been on cooldown, so it looks like very, very bad result there for Nicker. And we do have him now trying to take down this Archmage, but the Archmage just managed to get back very, very close to level 6, as we see a huge number of units being taken down there by Hawk from a fantastic engagement there. And level 6 pops for that Archmage as well, and this will be the end now of Nicker, really, now that he's lost that Panda and that Hawk's hit level 6. There's really very, very little coming back from that, as Nicker's expansion now going to be in peril. He is going to have to heal up very, very quickly. He is still slowed on a lot of his units as well. He has managed to keep his fairy dragons alive, though he has had to sacrifice the hippogriffs to do it. And at this point now, there's 5 flying, which is going to be very, very deadly. We can see these fairy dragons coming in, but are going to be very, very quickly taken out, even if they go in mana flare form, as this Demon Hunter is basically trying to solo the army. The bears finally coming in. Demon Hunter so close to level 6. We can see how desperately Nicker wants those that metamorphosis, and maybe he'll be able to get it here. A couple of these Sprout Witchers are pretty low, and the Demon Hunter now does finally get that level 6, goes immediately into metamorphosis, and now just needs to try and take down this Archmage. Basically, the Archmage does have invuln pot, so maybe he's actually going to be going for these units. We can see the huge splash effect being so powerful there. He's attacking ground units, but taking out air units. Just everything's going off here as the Archmage now tries to mass DP out. Does manage to get out of there in time. Nicker doesn't focus the Archmage down, and that is going to be a slight reprieve here for Nicker, as he now. Actually, it looks like a lot of these militia were called, and are eventually just going to be forced back. Maybe even are going to run into the metamorphosized Demon Hunter. Yes, they are, and that's going to be some nice, maybe 25 free experience. Actually, no, not even that by the looks of things. He was going to be forced back here, and unfortunately, Nicker going to actually give able to do a bit of damage here. Only 1 priest or 2 priests, so it's going to be a bit slow on the healing here, but Nicker now is actually slowed, and the frost arrow is hitting him as well, so really a lot of damage being taken, as well as a very, very slow Demon Hunter is eventually going to be able to get away because of the Dispel. Actually, he's being re-slowed by the Naga, who is clearing up, so certainly going to have a lot of mana for the next fight, as this Tree of Eternity is now being walked down. The Panda finally pops back out, and we do now see Hawk looking for another fight. He really needs to use one of his scrolls of healing. He only has one, so maybe he's going to save it a bit longer, but these breakers are all so low, and at this point it's just so dangerous. But at the same time, you can't be waiting too long, because you can't wait for that Metamorphosis to come off cooldown. As we see another Blizzard going on now, trying to catch some of those slowed bears in it, and he does manage to be quite successful with that, as we see a lot of, very nice staff there on that bear, and we do not see a Mass TP going out here. Maybe this is how Hawk's going to try and play it from now on, as he's lost a lot of units here in the Mass TP due to the shorter radius, which can confuse people or catch people off guard. Looks like he's going to lose at least 2 breakers and a present here. Probably not going to get this 3rd breaker, just it's too far away. Oh, he does actually get a couple of dry hits off here. Maybe even going to get that. Very nice result there for Nicker, and that's really what he needed to get back into this game. But still, at this point, just the army is so threatening, and any bad engagement from Hawk or from Nicker can just cause so much damage. And Hawk, in the meantime, bear in mind his heroes are both ranged heroes, and he has really nice tanks in the form of the breakers, so he's less likely to lose a hero, as well as he has mass DP, so he can jump all over the map if he can get maybe invisible units up here and take out Moonwalls, things like that. There's a whole bunch of options really. And bear in mind, he can get invisible units quite simply just by upgrading his horse. Actually retraining now. He's going back to Water Elemental. Interesting choice there by him. I guess he's just realized there's very low Dryad numbers, and the Dryads have all basically have 1 dispel on them, and they need that dispel for things like getting rid of slow on that Demon Hunter and the Panda. So maybe that's his going to be his new strategy coming up here, as you see these more teams actually doing a bit of shelling here, doing a bit of damage to some of the Dryads. It's nice to do this just before the start of the battle now, and we see Hawk. Actually, he doesn't have a huge army at this point, but Nicker going to be coming in immediately, getting off 1 meta burn off on this Naga, and the Demon Hunter now going to try and get a bit of a block here maybe, as we see actually these the mortar teams now being a bit caught out here, and all of the Dryads now running after those mortar teams now, but eventually the Metamorphosis is now used on the Demon Hunter, as well as the Panda hitting level 5, which is so huge, and the Demon Hunter is staffed home now. Bear in mind that staff is actually to the natural, I believe, that's where the Tree of Eternity has gone, so it's going to be taking a bit longer to heal on Moonwalls. There's a lot of these casters brought down to almost no health at all. So close here. Can we see another Breath of Fire? The Panda does still have some mana on him, and the breakers won't be able to take it away in time, as the Panda now very low on health, and is just staffed home in time by Nicker. So close there. If he had lost that Panda, this would have all changed, but Nicker just gets back in the nick of time, and he does actually take down a couple more units with the Metamorphosis Demon Hunter, which was being rejuvenated up, and the Panda now back in the battle with only 60 hit points. Needs to be so careful here. I wonder if Nicker did this on purpose. He wants that Breath of Fire desperately or something, but so many low casters here. The Demon Hunter could even try and take it out with the AoE, and does get one of them, but it looks like no more will be going off, as the Demon Hunter now going to be trying to chase down in a bit, but he has been slowed, and he could try for some mana burns, but it looks at this point really he should just be trying to move back, maybe try and get off the rejuvenation. His Panda's healed up a bit more, and does actually have a fair bit of mana, so could maybe try and get back into this battle yet again, as we see this Demon Hunter having to go back home, and the Panda going to be coming in. We can see the Source immediately brought home, but just a bit too close, as he loses 3 units to 1 Breath of Fire there, and Nicker now going to lose 1 bear. Maybe we're going to be seeing some more staffs. Yes, we do see 2 more staffs, and bear in mind the staffs only to here, so it's really not too useful. I'm really not sure, because if this is the best idea. Obviously having the Tree of Eternity in the battle is nice, and having the units very close, but Panda is so close to dying, and does indeed die there. Level 5 Panda goes down. Is this what Hawk needed to get back into this fight? As we see this Demon Hunter now very low on health, but both the heroes of Hawk are so low. The Naga down to almost no health, and the Demon Hunter comes in here, has been slowed yet again, gets the mana burn off, does get the kill, and hits level 7 as well. So both second heroes being killed, and we do now have the Demon Hunter taking a lot of damage, and has been slowed yet again, as the Bears being able to do a lot of damage in the back, but this Demon Hunter now so low, 39 health, and does get taken down, as that leaves Nicker with no heroes whatsoever. Nicker does have this mining base, and obviously this will be mining for a lot longer, because obviously this base is already mined out, so really there's nothing left for Hawk to do but just attack, but Hawk just losing a couple of units here and there. Actually Nicker is losing 1 Dryad though. I wonder if we're going to be seeing a hero being taverned back, or if Nicker's going to need to wait for the altar to go. Looks like he is altering back the Demon Hunter, so that's going to take a long time, as the Hawk manages to do a lot of damage here. Has now hit level 8, does have that level 3 Brilliance already as well, so that's just explained why he's able to get so many slows through this game. As we see all these peasants walking forward, maybe gonna try and just get a couple hits off there on the entangled gold mine and cause Nicker to force Nicker to react to it at the very least. But if we can see that Demon Hunter get back out in time, maybe we can see the Metamorphosis carry him, because there's really not too much here for Nicker, and certainly nothing that does fantastically against Metamorphosis. Though certainly there isn't much of anything that does fantastically against Metamorphosis. I think Hawk's best hope at that point would just be to mass DP away, wait for it to go back on cooldown, and then try and take another battle. But Nicker, he does still have 4,400 gold left in this mine, so really if Nicker can defend for long enough, Hawk will lose this game. But it just is a matter of what can Hawk do, and look, by listening to this quite a lot, Nicker now coming or having his base invaded here. Nicker gonna be able to immediately dispel that first water elemental. The Steam Hunter now very close to being out, but the Author is being focused down quite a bit as we see another water elemental being brought in. This one cannot be, or actually it can be dispelled mostly, and we'll have to see Nicker probably not gonna be looking to do that. Probably actually gonna be looking to focus down that Sork, and we can see actually, he does go for the 2 dispels on the water elemental, despite the fact that he isn't actually going to be able to do too much. Look at this micro here on this one Dryad. Dryad now going to take a lot of damage. It does finally get that 3rd dispel, and looks like the Altar is going to go down though, and that does now leave Nicker with how much money in the bank? 1,300 gold in the bank, so he does have enough to go to take a visit to the tavern. It looks like that is what he's doing now. Will he be able to get to the tavern, maybe try and get to this Moonwell heal off, and then try and take a battle? We'll have to see. That certainly is going to be his plan here, as we see this entangled gold mine being allowed to continue to mine, the Demon Hunter being bought back now. Obviously not quite enough money for the Panda as well, but certainly one Demon Hunter is all you need. Can he do it though with just one hero and one equally heroic Dryad against an army, and against a high level army as well here from Hawk, as this Tree of Eternity takes one for the team, buys a lot of time now for Nicker, and actually does a bit of damage as well. Actually, ooh, Nicker could have maybe even got the kill there on that breaker, because there's just so much damage output from Tree of Eternities, as we see Nicker actually choosing to take this battle a bit quicker than I would expect it, but he hasn't managed to heal up fully, so he maybe is going to be in a decent position. He does have the shop nearby as well. He has taken down a couple units, but this is going to force Hawk into a position where he's going to have to try and maybe do some other damage. Actually, cancels one building there, as maybe it'd be nice to see Hawk attacking this gold mine and then killing the Wisp as they try and heal it. That's certainly something that can always go pretty well if you manage to control it right, as this Demon Hunter now catching up, going to be able to take out one breaker immediately with the nice flank here with the one Dryad, which you can get the slow off. And we do now have a lot of damage being taken on the Archmage, who does still have the invuln pot, but an Archmage versus a Demon Hunter is never going to be good, so you do need your support units, and we can see Nicker just slowly, one by one, picking them off fantastically. Oh my god, what a comeback here by Nicker, as he's now going to be able to bring his Demon Hunter up, and there's really nothing Hawk can do about this now. He does have this level 8 hero versus level 7 hero, but there's just, the Demon Hunter is so strong 1 versus 1, and we can just see that now. He's just being able to pick off individual unit after individual unit. Hawk now uses an invuln pot, but there's nothing he can do once that runs out, and we'll be able to see the GG any second now. This Tree of Eternities having survived as well. Hawk now going to lose his Archmage. GG from Hawk. Wow, what an amazing game there. Really nice comeback there by Nicker after having been so far down, after having lost both his heroes, and really that Panda loss was quite unfortunate during that big battle where he could have staffed away, but he did just manage to hold on, and really Hawk didn't manage to close it up before the Demon Hunter was brought back, and that was enough to seal the deal there and give Nicker the win. So really nice game there by both players, but Nicker just being overwhelming in the end. So I hope you enjoyed that game, folks. I'll bring you some more in the near future. Thanks.